Trader Life Simulator 2. Is this going to be a win or a bin? Let's find out and read through the description on Steam. Start your business going from an empty shop to the biggest trader in town. Buy and sell over 150 products, purchase and drive vehicles, customize your shop with over 120 equipment, furniture, and walls. Grammatically, it's not amazing either, really, but yeah, that's the least of our concerns I'm going to show you. Look, I'm going to be really blunt because I don't want to be waffling on about this for too long. So I'm just going to run through all the stuff that really pissed me off, and there's a lot of it, but I'm going to try and keep it brief. So immediately when you start the game, you go into a very, very quick tutorial. It tells you to get in your car, off you go and drive to your shop. First thing it asks you to do is pick up a couple of things, a box and some shelves. First thing was the shelves are picked up with the key of T. The box is picked up with the click of the mouse. That's weird. You're doing the same thing. Okay, but you've got 5 slots. They populate 1 each. You go into the shop. Your shop opens straight away just because you open the door and you've got nothing actually set up in your shop. So, okay, accept that. And then you place your shelf down, and this is where most of the problem starts. So there is absolutely no snapping at all, so the shelf can literally go anywhere. And in fact, as you will see here, the shelf can be placed in the wall. And if you go outside of the shop, you can see the shelf poking through the other side of the wall. Completely broken. You can then place all of your items on top of the shelf. That's fine. It's no snapping again, but maybe that's cool having the freedom of where to put them, so you can rotate them and display them exactly how you like. So that's not all that bad. It's mostly with the actual shelving itself. Part of that annoyance, if you put some things on a shelf and take the shelf away, the items will just stay there in place and float. So there's no attachment to the item that you put them on at all. That's also extraordinarily shitty. So you've got your one shelf, couple of random packets of something on your shelf, and people start to come in the shop. They just go to the till. They don't bother looking at any of your items. They just go to the till where you've got your cashier, and the item or items will just disappear from your shelf. Your money will go up. There's no interaction with the cashier and the customer. Nobody moves. They just stare at each other intensely until the product disappears, and then they leave your shop. They don't carry the product out. Yeah, there's absolutely no reality there at all in terms of a real shopping experience, so it's not immersing you one bit at this point. With the products that those customers are buying, you can't actually adjust the price. So what's the point? You can't decide your own price points. As you go through the game, you have to travel around the map and buy items. So you don't go to wholesalers. Well, you might be, but there's no obvious explanation there. But you go into different shops, furniture shops, meat shops, electronic shops, and you can purchase your array of goods from there to then sell in your shop. But then you can't adjust the price. The prices are set as to how you sell them. Those prices do change day by day. It's a day and night cycle. So there are days and prices do change, but you have no say on what they are. Certainly at the beginning of the game. Perhaps it comes in later, maybe, but at the beginning you can't. And to me, again, not a realistic aspect. As I said a moment ago, you have to go around the map to all these different shops picking up your goods. Now, the map itself looks like it was drawn by me whilst I was pissed using some children's crayons. That's how it looks to me. It's not a great look at all. It doesn't show where you are on the map. There's no mini-map when driving or walking, so you keep having to look at your map, which, by the way, has about 2 roads, and it's extraordinarily badly laid out. They don't connect in some places. It's awful. The map is a total write-off, in my opinion. You are ultimately left to your own device, and that in itself is okay, because you don't mind teaching yourself a few bits. The tablet has some help stuff on it, so it tells you how to do certain things, but it does leave you alone for the most part. But I think because this seems to be so broken in the sense of the things I've pointed out so far, it's not great. It would be nice to have a bit more guidance. Maybe I've missed the point to this. I don't think I have, but perhaps I have. But the tablet itself is alright in the sense it's got upgrades, it's got things you can look at about your health. I mean, you're supposed to be able to eat and go to the toilet and keep an eye on your own health and stuff like that. So it does a few things, but from what I can see, nothing that really improves the game at the beginning, and then you've got to start getting money in to utilize some of these apps. But to do that, you've got to really stick this game out and keep trying to sell things in your shop. But really, for me, I've not got the patience to want to, because it's just so bad. I don't want to get any further with it. I'm just fed up. I'm just wasting my own time. And I can tell you now, as a reviewer, this is just a god-awful game. And I just don't need to go any further with it to tell you that, honestly. Just a final point on of something, which is vaguely, it's that bad it's amusing. Human characters in this are so dead behind the eyes. Honestly, they're terrifying in many ways. It's almost like a Halloween game. There's a bakery in the game, which I'll show you now, and you walk in, and you never interact with the shopkeeper, by the way. You just approach the goods in their shop and just buy them in the same way I guess people might do in your shop, except you're physically going to the product. Anyway, doesn't matter. The baker, even in the bakery, my God, if someone said draw a baker or show me a picture of a baker or stereotypical baker, you couldn't get any further from the truth. This just looks like a sadomasochist. Yeah, I don't know why they've modelled him like that. It's not right. And there's a butcher in the game where you could buy your meat products. It looks a bit more like a butcher. Yeah, fine, surly guy, you know. But he also looks like a zombie version of a butcher. And yeah, it looks a bit green or grey, if you ask me. But the highlight for me is I found Jesus. And I will show you him now. And he's such a beautiful figure in the game. But also dead behind the eyes, as Jesus probably is. Just an actual specific glitch now. If you don't use your handbrake on your car will actually just roll off. But it did so on one particular occasion in a very dramatic fashion, which I will show you here as well. And you'll see the car just flying down the hill into my shop. And then when I go and look at the car, there's customers trying to go through my car and into the shop, but the characters just disappear and then are replaced by new generated characters that look totally different. So there's some issues there. That's very, very glitchy and buggy in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if the car should be going as mental as that in the first place, as it sort of falls away. I mean, the slope doesn't even look that steep in all honesty, but you'll see how ridiculous this looks. I have to try and be fair and pick out a couple of decent things about this. Now, there's a lot of good graphic settings in the game. As far as I can see, there's no key binding or any viewable controls in the options menu. You can't access the options menu in game. You have to exit. The car you drive is quite fun. It's quite rally-like. As you go around a corner, you try and have to recover it from spinning. It's a little bit of fun, actually. It's not too bad. And the character that I think you play, I suspect he's a bit of a dude, and you only get to see him from the title screen of the game. I don't think you get to see him in the game itself. But he does look like a bit of a dude, but perhaps that's not you. Maybe that's just someone they've decided to put on the front of the game to make you think you're going to be playing as a cool, edgy person to detract you from the fact that this isn't a good game at all. So yeah, to sum up, this is a horrific game. Visually terrible, game mechanics are terrible, and it just doesn't sort of make you get engrossed into the game whatsoever. I played 45 minutes, I don't want to play anymore, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, it's almost laughable in many respects, but it's not a functioning game, certainly not one that I can play for longer than I already have. Perhaps other people enjoy it, maybe there's something I'm missing, but I found far too much wrong with this too early to want to continue, I'm afraid. Thank you ever so much for the key from the developer to let me try this. I appreciate that. I don't know how much this is going to be up for sale for when it comes out in a couple of days, but I wouldn't pay more than £5 for this. Be lucky to want to pay more than £3 for this, if anything.